The top 20% of Americans hold 80% of the wealth in America. The mid-upper 20% of Americans hold 10% of the wealth in America. The middle class 20% of Americans share 5% of the wealth. The mid-lower class 20% shares 4% of the wealth in America. The lower 20% shares a mere 1% of all the wealth.
Well, since my baby left me, well, I found a new place to dwell. Well, it's down at the end of Lonely Street, that heartbreak hotel where I'll be just so lonely, baby. Well, I'm so lonely, I'll be just so lonely, I could die.
Hi, I'm Brian Commons. I live a simple life. I have multiple homes, lots of cars, and all the money I can ever need. I have practically no debt. No, I have no debt. And no worries. Pimping ain't a game, it's a lifestyle.
Hello, my name is Dr. Lawyer. I live a pretty swell life, and most of the time I make a decent sum of money. I have a nice house, and I can afford everything that I need to be happy.
I'm Mrs. Tresner. I'm a teacher at the local high school. I live with my family and I live in a pretty normal life. I'm your average Joe. I'm working on paying off my car, house, and college loans. I'm making money for my family to have to not worry about money, but time's always going to be tough.
Hi there, I'm Cedric. I work part-time as a grocery bagger. Got a small apartment in the city, and pretty to look at. But, it's a place to live. I have trouble paying off debt every now and again, and I can really only afford the necessities in life.
But me, well, I'm homeless, Sarah. I don't make much money, I live hand to mouth, and I don't really have a home. Life is tough, it's practically impossible to change my life at this point. I can't afford more schooling to better myself, but at least I got my shoe, so that's all that matters.
The daily lives of the 5 percentiles are worlds apart, and while they all may seem like their lives are fine, their lives are directly affected by income inequality, in ways that you would never think of. But first, how do hardworking Americans like you and me feel that they are affected by income inequality? We asked around Sumner Academy in Kansas City, Kansas to see how the students and staff felt their lives were affected. We asked Cedric Weaver, a senior at Sumner, how he felt income inequality had affected his life.
What's the biggest part of my life that's been affected by income inequality? I guess I'd have to say the work part of my life. I get paid $7.50 an hour. I work four hours every night. And I can sometimes end up working 5 to 6 nights a week. And so a lot of that money goes into, gas to be able to get back and forth from my job and school. And, if I know I'm one of the lowest paid people at my job. And so, it would probably help if I was paid a little bit more so that I'd be able to put more gas in so that I can get, back and forth from work. But, it's not horrible, but it's definitely a struggle.
We also asked Jamel Brown, an educator at Sumner Academy, if she felt she had been affected by income inequality.
Well, it definitely affects me as an educator and as a teacher in a school district that is predominantly low income. My students don't have an opportunity sometimes to do some of the same things that kids from other schools have an opportunity to do. Competing every weekend, we have an opportunity to go to other high schools in Overland Park, in Johnson County, in Olathe, and Blue Valley, and it's obvious the discrepancies in the school building and their resources, and so it's something I'm affected with every weekend.
We asked around some more, and it was easy to see that work and education were definitely the biggest topics on people's minds. But would you have ever guessed that crime rates increase along with rising economic inequality? According to Tara Ressler from Think Progress, as the gap between the rich and the poor rose, the rate of homicide rose along with it. A 74% variance in murder rates and half the aggravated assaults can be explained by income inequality alone. Perhaps even worse than crime rates, our physical and mental health is being damaged by income inequality. According to researchers at Harvard University's School of Public Health, People than lower income tend to have more migraines and are more likely to become depressed than those with higher income. Areas with lower income also show worse life expectancy than those with higher income. But it's not just adults that feel the pain from income inequality. Income inequality has also been found to affect infant mortality rates, low birth weight, teenage pregnancy, and obesity rate. But the big question on everyone's mind is, what can we do about it?
This is Tyrone Johnson with Channel 5 News at 9.
And this is Francis Willard. And today we're talking about something on everyone's mind, the income inequality in America.
But first, we're going to take you to a debate going on right now between Democrat Regina George and Republican Dick Newsom.
And to you, John.
Okay, to our next topic, income inequality. Everybody knows that both Democrats and Republicans know that the inequality has increased over the past 10 years. If you were to get elected, what are your plans on fixing this gap in inequality? Ms. George?
I would raise taxes on the rich by about 13% and aid the poor so their needs are met. This would help them begin to leave the poverty stage and continue to move on with their life.
Now, but this is where we disagree, because this builds dependence upon the government, which no one wants. We want people to move forward with their lives as opposed to just becoming dependent on the government checks and living week to week on welfare.
Okay, but there are those who are not dependent on the government all the
There
time.
are some. There are some.
There are always going
There
to
are
be some.
some.
But there are
There
those
are also
that are
those
not.
that become dependent, and basically they're just free riders, and all they do is get money from the government that is paid by other taxpayers who have jobs.
Then there's those
Who
hard
work for
workers
their money.
who have lost their jobs and who need that money in order to, get back up on their feet so they can find another job.
Okay. So, do you have any more ideas of how you plan on fixing this?
Also raising the minimum wage. So, those families that have lost their jobs through the recession, they are able to, continue to raise their family even though on the low, payments that they receive.
Wrong again.
We're wrong.
Raising minimum wage will only force businesses to cut some of their profits. In addition, in order to recoup these profits, all they will do is increase prices, and then they're back in the same hole again. That's it. It's just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, it can work. They don't have to raise their prices. You can, be willing to make that sacrifice of getting a smaller profit in order to.
See, there you're hurting big business, is what you're doing. You're giving more to the average man. How about our corporations? Do you want people not to come to America? Do you hate America? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm not.
Very interesting stuff. I have to say that Dick Newsom character he's very handsome. What? Some say education is the best solution to income inequality, although there are some major problems with this.
Yeah, although it can help, there's a major barrier in that you need money to get a college education.
Yeah, there's a definite need for overhaul. Many people need more financial aid than they can get, and tuition is going up every day.
Another major cause of income inequality is the decline of the nuclear family in America.
Agreed. Families with two parents are much more likely to send their kids to prison and keep them out of jail, for that matter.
Well, with two parents in the home, that makes two sets of income. That also makes the family less able to be on welfare.
That's all from us at Channel 5. Good night.